Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Felix. I am the owner and operator of Proving Ground Kennels Dog Training based out of Tempe, Arizona. Some of the things we do around here is all breed dog training from basic obedience to advanced obedience, competition obedience. We do behavior modification and we also do personal protection. You can check it all out at www.provinggroundk9.com. That's letter K, number 9. This is going to be our first video log. I'm planning on putting together about one of these once a month, discussing some of the things that I come across, working with clients on a regular basis. I hope that this helps answer a couple of questions and that it helps owners and handlers create a better relationship with their dogs. Today's video log is going to be about drives. I'm going to discuss food drive, I'm going to discuss hunt drive and prey drive. I'm also going to touch upon negative punishment, which is one of the concepts that I like to use a lot in order to maximize the communication between handler and dog on the training field. So let's get started. We're going to start with food drive. Food drive, in other words, hunger. Let's say we think about a wolf descendant of the dog. The wolf just wakes up in the morning and the wolf wakes up hungry, so therefore the food drive is going to be very high. It's going to be peaking. That food drive is going to send that wolf out to hunt for prey. Therefore, the next drive that kicks in is the hunt drive. The hunt drive, you may have seen some dogs, scent detection dogs smelling around. Those dogs are working primarily on hunt drive. The hunt drive is going to send the dog out, the wolf or dog is going to send him out to smell for prey, to look for prey. Let's say if we're talking about a rabbit, then that wolf, or any type of prey, that wolf is going to be smelling around for that specific type of animal in order to be fed. The hunt drive is going to take the wolf to the point where that wolf sees some type of movement. At that point, the prey drive takes over. The prey drive is something that if you worked with me, you're very familiar with. It can be something that can be very positive in certain instances, or it can be quite negative in other instances. Certain positive instances of prey drive are mostly with our working dogs, scent detection dogs, police dogs, military working dogs, personal protection dogs, sport dogs. They need a lot of prey drive in order to fulfill the job at hand. The more prey drive the dog has, the more motivated he's going to be able to be. Now, in other instances, such as with pet dogs, many times owners are not familiar with the concept of prey drive, and unbeknownst to them, they end up getting a dog that is pretty prey driven. So now the issues that we can come across is that this dog is now chasing the cat around the house, he's destroying the furniture, he's causing all sorts of trouble around the house, and that's something the owners don't want. Now, back to the wolf. This wolf is just out hunting in the wild. The moment that that wolf feels the presence of prey, the predatory sequence takes over. Now, the predatory sequence is broken down into 6 different steps. The steps are stalk, chase, pounce, bite, kill, and dissect. Most of us have actually seen this predatory sequence at play with our dogs at home. Anytime that there's a plush toy and we have a dog around that wants to play with it, it's a good example of the predatory sequence. In our pet dogs, the stalk is manifested by the dog just being very focused on the toy that we have in our hand. Now, let's say we throw that toy. That dog is going to chase that toy, which is the second step of the predatory sequence, chase. The third one is the pounce. One of the best examples of pounce is with working dogs jumping onto the bite. Now, with this pet dog, the pounce is just going in order to catch the toy. Then the next one is bite, self-explanatory. The following one is kill. Kill means that the predator is ensuring that the prey is dead. Kill manifests itself by the predator shaking the prey, and with our pet dogs we see this, by the dog picking up the toy, shaking it around while we see us play. The following one is dissect. Once again, we've all seen the dog that is playing with the plush toy, all of a sudden rips it apart, and instead of eating the cotton or whatever's inside of it, the dog just takes it out little by little, little by little. That is the dissect aspect. For some of my clients, their furniture becomes a prey, and then I see desiccated furniture, you know, more often than I'd like. Now, with this wolf that we're talking about, the moment that he sees that rabbit, he's gonna go into stalk. You know, body language is gonna give it away. The moment that that rabbit takes off running, the wolf is gonna go into chase. Once the distance is closed, there's gonna be the pounce, followed by the bite, the kill, shaking it to ensure the prey is dead, and then the sag in order to feed himself or the puppies, feed the pack. So, you know, as we can see, there's not that much of a difference between a wolf hunting his prey down and eating for the day and a pet dog playing with a plush toy. Is just a different manifestation of it. Now, so that is the relationship between the food drive, which sends the dog into hunt drive, and eventually triggers the prey drive. The predatory sequence takes place, and that wolf can, uh, be fed and go to sleep with a full belly for that night, survive one more day. So that is it as far as the different drives. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Now, I'm gonna discuss negative punishment. Negative punishment is one of the many ways of training a dog. There is, as I'm sure everybody involved in any type of dog training has heard of positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is simply, using some stimuli that's gonna trigger that dog's attention and is gonna want to do whatever we're asking him to do. If we're talking about food, he gets a treat. Talking about a toy, he gets a toy, and that is positive reinforcement at work. Then there is positive punishment. Positive punishment is delivering a correction to the dog. So a correction can be, I've seen people with water bottles just spraying their dogs. That could be positive punishment. Or it can be a correction with an e-collar. It can be a correction with a prong collar. It's just communicating to the dog that we don't want you doing this, and it's a type of positive punishment. The one that we are going to discuss the most today is negative punishment. Negative punishment, in my opinion, is the perfect midpoint in between positive reinforcement and positive punishment. Negative punishment means to withdraw something away from the dog. So, in the case of my clients, we start everything with positive reinforcement. Let's say we're talking about a down position. We teach the dog how to go into the down position with treats. Dogs that are very foot driven are going to be crazy about it. They learn the position, they go down, and they get their treat. That's positive reinforcement perfectly at play. Now, what I've found with working with many different clients and my own dogs is that by incorporating negative punishment into the training sequence, we can maximize the communication between us and the dog. The reason why I say that is because if we go straight from positive reinforcement to positive punishment, that dog is not necessarily going to know what he's being corrected for, therefore creating what's called conflict. So in the case of a dog that's doing a down state, we start with positive reinforcement. Now, the dog's doing it well. And this happens many times. Now, let's say somebody just hears a bird, hears some sort of distraction, and the dog breaks. Now, instead of going right into positive punishment, delivering a correction right away, what we do is that we use negative punishment and lure the dog back into the position. We use what I call a baited hand, a hand with treats. We lure the dog back into the down position, and the dog goes into it expecting the treat, but instead of getting his treat, we're actually gonna hold it from the dog. And if you work with me, you remember the face that your dogs make when you withdraw the treat. It's like what the hell? Where's my treat? Kind of expression. And at that point, instead of giving it to him, we either release the dog or we make him hold that position and then reward. What that teaches the dog is that by performing what we want him to do, he's going to be able to get to that treat, sooner. Now, upon repetition of combining positive reinforcement with negative punishment, that dog develops a clear understanding of what we're asking him to do. So, let's say once again we're in the same scenario of a couple of weeks in, the dog has been practicing the downstay repeatedly. We put him in a downstay, we already used negative punishment on him, so he has a clear understanding. At that point, let's say a bird flies by. The dog, being an opportunistic predator, is going to want to capitalize on that, and his genes, the wolf genes, are going to make him chase after that prey. So we can't be mad at the dog for that, but we can communicate to him that that's not what we want, and the way we do that is now going into positive punishment. I believe the most effective use of positive punishment is when the dog has a clear understanding of what we're asking him to do. Therefore, by combining positive reinforcement with negative punishment, the dog has a clear understanding. Now he chooses not to do it, and at that point, we give him most likely a collar correction. At that point, we will correct him back into the down position, come up, the dog does it, and then we will give him a treat. That concept is drive, compulsion, drive. The dog is on drive for training, most likely food drive. Then the compulsion means any form of correction delivered to the dog. So the dog's on food drive, compulsion, he receives the correction, he goes down into position again, we push her up, make him hold it just for a couple of seconds, and then we reward him again. What that teaches the dog is that he can bypass that correction and get to a treat sooner. Now, also keep in mind that this dog already has a clear understanding of what we're asking him to do. He just chose not to do it. Therefore, we communicate to the dog, it's not necessarily up to you. You don't have the option of choosing not to do it. If you're commanded to do it, you have to do it. So at that point, the dog understands. Okay, if I break, even though my genes are making me want to go after that bird, if I break, there's going to be consequences. Yet, if I don't break, I can actually expect a treat out of this handler human. So negative punishment, it can be used in all aspects of dog training. Now the most basic one is during obedience training. I like to use it a lot with clients. If you work with me, you've used it. I like to use it with my dogs. And one of the best indications of when negative punishment is working is the expression on the dog's face. That where's my what happened here, and they don't necessarily know what's going on. There's another school of thought, negative reinforcement. I don't believe it's very effective in dog training, and that's a whole other subject. So by being able to combine positive reinforcement, negative punishment, and then positive punishment, we can communicate in the best way possible to our dogs what we want them to do. As I said, they're opportunistic predators, and we can't get mad at them for breaking a position and chasing what their genetics are telling them to do if we've only done positive reinforcement. That's why only positive reinforcement is not the most effective means of training, as the dog may do it perfectly fine around the house with no distractions, but if we take that same dog to a park full of birds, kids running around, other dogs, there's going to be so much positive stimuli around the dog that he's simply going to want to go and see what's going on around him. So by using negative punishment and positive punishment, we can take that same dog out to the park, and he knows, okay, if this person is asking me to go down, then I have to hold the down position. It isn't necessarily my choice, it's my handler's choice. That's it for today. I hope that everything made sense. I hope we were able to understand what I was saying with my accent. And if you guys have any questions, then feel free to drop any comments. I hope to hear from you, and there will be another vlog coming soon. Thank you.